Peace, world. What is going on? Welcome to another Substantial Weekly. My name is Substantial, of course. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If it's your first time watching, and to all the regulars, welcome back, man. Happy Friday to everybody. Yeah, man. First and foremost, sorry for the late notifications and stuff. I set up everything for the live today a bit late because I've been under the weather. I actually have a sinus infection, so that has not been very fun for the last few days, but it is what it is. We're going to talk about a lot of different things today, give you updates on the album and other things I got going on per usual. But first and foremost, if it's your first time at the channel, make sure you subscribe, like the video if you enjoy this live, and turn on those notifications so you don't miss future episodes. We might be a little light today because of the late notice with me only doing setting this up a couple hours ago. Usually it's set up the night before or sometimes earlier in the week. But peace, what's going on, Frank? Good to see you up in here. You know what I mean? Yeah, man. So a little bit to go over today. Today is kind of a semi-release day where there's a new track that dropped on Bandcamp exclusively and then will be available everywhere worldwide by next Friday. So of course we're going to talk about that and show you a couple things going on with Adultish. But yeah, hang tight one quick second while I make sure that I get this other thing uploaded that I was trying to do before the countdown ended, but was not trying to work in my favor, man. But yeah, shout out to anybody else tuning in. Shout out to the folks watching on YouTube, and shout out to those of you watching on Facebook and Twitch as well. Got love for everybody, man. Hey, what's going on, Nice Afro? Good to see you and Frank up in this joint, man. Always appreciate the company. Yeah, so a quick sidebar, man, while giving everybody time to load up. Couple different things going on. First and foremost, shout out to everyone who is a subscriber. We are less than 250 subscribers away now from hitting 10,000 right here on YouTube, for those of you watching on YouTube. So definitely appreciate that. And had a big milestone this past week where it finally passed 25,000 not subscribers, but 25,000 subscribers. I mean, not said it twice. 25,000 followers. There it is. On Spotify, man. So shout out to everybody for showing love over on Spotify or wherever you listen. It's greatly appreciated. Yeah, man. Alex, what's going on? Peace. Happy Friday. Y'all been playing the new track on loop all morning. That's love, man. Thank you so much. Peace. What's going on? Warpath. Good to see you, Eric. All right. So yeah, man. So as I mentioned, lots of things going on, and we're about to jump into it, doing the thing I said I was going to do real fast with the lightning fingers, trying to avoid typos. Hold up. Pow, poop, huh, and Shazam. Huh, Done. All right, there we go. So on that note, let's get into some things, man. First and foremost, quick update with what's going on with Kickstarter. These surveys are a struggle, and as I mentioned before, trying to get everyone to fill out the surveys is super important for certain aspects of it, mainly for shirt sizes. The bulk of everyone who's completed it so far includes those who I need sizes from so I could do this order. I think there's the small amount right now where I just I haven't heard from them, so I don't have their sizes. So what I'm yo, it is a struggle, fam. Yeah, the surveys is, man, and here's the really really interesting part about the surveys is it's people who I know, or like a few are like fans who we see on a regular basis, or have seen in the past and stuff, but it's mostly like people who I know personally who don't spend a lot of time, I think, on Kickstarter maybe. And yeah, man, like I've made phone calls, sent text messages, actually spoke to a few people, and they were like, yeah, I got you, and they still have not completed it. So as of right now, currently this is where we are with the surveys. All right. So we're at 86% complete, which is not bad. We are a 1% closer, 1% closer than we were last week. That is what we call progress, ladies and gentlemen. And I'll take it for now, man. But I greatly encourage everybody who has not completed their survey yet to please do that, just to save me the headache of having to reorder things that could have been ordered all together, and make this process a bit cheaper. Because quite frankly, what's going to end up happening is I'm going to end up losing a bit of the money that was made if I have to do multiple orders to get certain things sent in. So this will probably be the last time I mention it on Substantial Weekly, because I know most of you who are watching here are not I don't even feel right saying problem, because these are people who support it. So I don't want to say they're a problem, but it is holding up the process a little bit, at least for the physical merch. I mean, and when I say physical merch, I'm mostly talking about like the clothing stuff, not the music. But we are going to jump into the music in a moment. But like before I do that, let's pull this off the screen so I can show you something. Since we are talking about the shirts, because as I mentioned in the Kickstarter update that I did, which I will show you in a moment too. Hold on, trying to bring something up on the screen. Yeah, so let's take a look at this merchandise real quick. So I do have samples of certain items. So that is the shirt, the official Adultish shirt. Like, it's the pattern and stuff that you see that was designed for the album cover. Came out pretty dope with like the jean textures and the different paper textures that was used. I know it's hard to really see how good it looks, but I will show you additional photos with models or myself wearing it if you have not seen it on Kickstarter already. So yeah, man. And then this right here, this is the official hoodie for Adultish. You know what I mean? Came out pretty dope. Yeah, man, it's pretty fresh, and I love like how it works in the front, like the little overlay. It's kind of hard to see it's washing out, but like the overlay of the hoodie, it's not like other hoodie designs that we've seen and stuff. So it's really dope. Feels amazing. Fits great too. So yeah, man. This merch will soon be available. The merch, pardon me, the merch items that were on Kickstarter will soon be available on subartandmusic.com in the store, and eventually Bandcamp as well. So I will keep y'all all, I will keep you all in the loop, man. Yesterday I did get some sample images of the what's it called, of the Adultish hat. Oh my god, yo. Yeah, man. I'll see if I can bring an image up, because I wasn't going to show it today because the hat is looking great. There's certain parts of it that got to get redone. So I'm gonna hold off. Yeah, I'll probably just hold off. But that pattern that you see on the shirt, like if you lift up the snapback, it's on the bottom. It's under the brim of the snapback, and then it's we did an embroidery on the front of the hat, but I forgot to tell them initially that I wanted the 3D embroidery, and so they're redoing that, and then it'll have the substantial tag on the back, right above the snapback portion of the hat. So yeah, man, it is looking pretty dope. Like, it's looking really, really, really dope. So I will keep you all abreast of what's going on with that. Hopefully I will have samples of the hat in by I'll have a sample of the hat in by next, I want to say by next month I should have it, so that way I can get those orders in, so I can have the physical merch all here by April. So that is what's going on with that, man. But thanks, man. I'm glad y'all are feeling the merch item so far. It's coming together pretty good. Peace. What's going on, Armand? Good to see you up in here, fam. Thanks for joining us. So yeah, man. So that is what's happening with that. Other things that are going on. So I know before I mentioned that I was supposed to be at Katsucon this weekend. And yeah, for those of you who just tuned in and missed what I said in the beginning, I'm under the weather right now. I have a sinus infection, so I will not be going to Katsucon, unfortunately. I got to link up. Shout out to our intern / volunteer, Jasmine, who works with Substantial Art and Music. She is going to be dropping off certain items for folks who want to participate in the Sketchpads contest, which will be happening at Katsucon this weekend. Just stop by the Artway Alliance and what's the company? Farpoint Con, which was dope, by the way. Farpoint Con was a really good time last weekend. But yeah, stop by that booth if you want to participate in the Sketchpads contest. You pick up a free sketchbook, drawing materials. You compete by drawing a character, whether it's an anime character or a sci-fi character. You have a certain amount of time to turn it in. Once you turn it back in, that will be judged by various people on the team, who then will let you know if you won by Saturday night. And if you won, you win 4 tickets to Farpoint Con, amongst other cool items. So yeah, that is happening, so that's what's going on with that. Let's keep it moving. So I'm not gonna waste too much more of y'all time. We're gonna talk about this next single, but give me 1 second as I get something that I thought I had near me that I don't right now. But for those of you who have already heard the entire the new single, which the link for it you should be able to see in the chat, is toward the top of the chat if you missed it. Should be pinned if you're on YouTube. But yeah, man, the new single, You've Grown, out right now. Only on Bandcamp for now. Next week it drops on all streaming platforms. I will make sure to hit you with the pre-saved link in the chat in a moment. And yeah, man, let me know what you think of the single so far. And if you haven't heard it, you're about to hear it right now. Give me one quick moment. Yeah, man. So this joint here that you're about to hear the full thing of, because I know last week I only played a snippet. I'm gonna play it here on the channel, and yeah, man, let's get into that. I'm really, really, really proud of this joint. My sister, who the last verse is about, has not heard it yet. She's supposed to be coming in town next week, and she has a lot going on, so I'm sure she's not going to hear it before she sees me. And so I'm excited to play it for her in person. I might just record like a little Zoom joint of me playing it for her before then, just in case, just to see how she responds. But let me try to bring it up right now. There it is. All right. Hold tight. Cool. All right, so let's get this audio playing. All right. Okay. Let's rewind that so it don't come in. Let's make sure it coming clean. You know what I mean? Here we go. Shout out to Miller. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, keep going. So proud, keep going. Time slipping through our hands like an hourglass as it trickles sand. Struggling to meet all of like the man's. Ain't no guarantee, still make time to plan. Remember our dream, you birth a little stand. Better yet, God gave me 3 of you. Travel way beyond where it all began. Never let the distance get between us two. Grew from a black sheep to a black queen. Black excellence looking good on you. From black dress to the direct thing. Doing things you were scared you never do. Relate a message like a track team. You reflect who you're attracting. Watch you rise up like Maxine. Stranger things I struggle make a better you. I salute you. You put in work and never put your worth in how another person views you. You put your heart in every work of art and keep your family part of what you do. A queen born in Queens like a king's, but in real life, y'all who knew? Glad I shot my shot like do. Now we paired up like Bluetooth.
I'm so amazed at who you are. Who would have seen us come this far? You really made this life your own. How much you've grown. How much you've grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, keep going. So proud, keep growing. Hey Lee, wish I had a time machine to show you younger you what you're accomplishing daily. In spite of what the cost is, all you lost a second grandchild, second baby. You prove to be the queen of second chances in advance, and no matter what they see, no buts or no ifs as it may be. Surviving from things that will break me. Went from GED to burning through your third degree. A lot of what I mastered in my own relationship, I learned from watching you and D. Went from drop out to a drop top at the drop thought tomfoolery. Went from no lights to lighting up a path for you and yours quite beautifully. This from you, from me. Some words of affirmation from your baby brother. Thanks for all the inspiration and support when I was fronted on by many others. Many of us don't make it as far as we have, and I cherish the joy that's among us. Every blessing you're getting is well earned. Take a look at that fall that you brought us. You know I love you. I'm so amazed at who you are. Who would have seen us come this far? You really made this life your own. How much you've grown. How much you've grown. How much you've grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, keep going. So proud, keep growing. Man, listen. First of all, shout out to Tone Deaf of Q&5 and Quintic. That's the brother right there, man, my homie for a very long time who mixed and mastered the track. Yeah, shout out to him, man, because I feel like he did an amazing job with the mix and mastering it. And shout out to Millen as well, man. Shout out to Jonathan Smalls on bass. Tone also added additional keys to it. The great thing about getting it on Bandcamp, for those of you who want it over there, and keep in mind, if you supported the Kickstarter, you are going to get a digital download of the entire project and the instrumentals as well. So you don't have to purchase it, and you can listen to it for free on Bandcamp right now, and also on Kickstarter. So yeah, I'm not expecting people who've already supported the project to do it again. So thank you already. But man, let me tell you something. Just how all of it came out, man. I'm really proud of the record. Shout out to Marcus D as well. I let Marcus hear an early version of the beat because I used one of his sample packs. I pulled a sample from one of his sample packs and chopped that to lay the foundation of the beat. And yeah, man, really, really proud of that record. It was a hard record to write, with it being about my wife and sister. Hey, shout out to Bangzera 242 watching on Twitch. I appreciate the love. Glad y'all enjoyed the joint, man. I'm loving how this project is turning out, man. Thank you so much. I really, really can't wait for y'all to hear everything when it's all done. Giant Dismember says, when you hold the words like maybe, that's the spice I needed. Hey, man, thank you, fam. Yeah, I try to I always keep my friend Micah Blacklight, an amazing poet and illustrator. I always keep him in the back of my mind when I'm writing my music. People like him and my homeboy Jamin Cuevas, who used to give me, we used to talk music and stuff back in the day and talk writing. And what my man Micah used to say was there were things that he liked that I would do in my battle rhymes that he oftentimes found it was missing in my deeper subject matter, like when I talked about things that mattered most. And so I try to add those things when I talk about it, like the little tone, like the tone switches and the little flavor that you would put on these other things. So it's not just so straightforward, and it's a bit more creative, and the punchlines and stuff too, like the clever wordplay and stuff. I'm not sure if y'all caught that Maxine reference in the first verse. It's like a little Stranger Things nod. I might run the song back. Y'all let me know if y'all want me to run it back. You know what I mean? So we can talk about it in depth. We're definitely going to be talking about this song a lot over the next 2 weeks since it comes out again next week on all streaming platforms. But yeah, man, thank you. Yeah, I agree with Frank. This project is elegant, classy, chock full of greatness and talent. Wow, man. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that, Warpath. Really means a lot, man. Very cool music, play on words and sensations. It's an incredible song. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, man. I'm hopeful. I've played this project for a lot of folks. And when I say a lot, relatively, like I haven't played it for thousands of people or even hundreds of people. I've played it for maybe I would say like 10 to 20 folks have heard like close to half the stuff on it, or have heard the whole thing. And when I say people who really, really know my work, like people who have been listening to me since before I ever signed with Hideout, and have followed my entire career and my life. And some people who knew me after, but have been really close to me and working with me behind the scenes for a very long time. The sentiment is basically that this is the best work I've done. Which, quite frankly, I've been kind of like, oh man, go ahead, man. You know what I mean? Trying, I've been appreciative, but I've really, I'm taking it with a grain of salt, just trying to keep my head low, keep working, stay humble, receive whatever flowers people are giving me, but most importantly, just stay focused on getting the quality where I believe it needs to be, and feeling confident that I've put my best foot forward when the work is done. I already know that like some of what I'm doing, it's not going to be for everyone. This is the record I wanted to make, and I produced it myself, and so from the first demo that I ever submitted to Nujabes, which I produced about 90% of that, to or 80% of that, to now where I am. I've grown a lot as a producer, and there's a lot of influences and stuff that I've always had in my production that people are starting to become familiar with now because they're listening to more of my production. And yeah, man, I feel like it pushes the boundaries a little bit more than what some people, if you only really listen to the Nujabes stuff that I've done or the Hideout / Jazz Hop collabs I've done. This record pushes the boundaries a bit more in terms of what we believe this sound of hip hop can be. You know what I mean? Because honestly, I sometimes feel like jazz hop can be a little stale after a while. You know what I mean? Like, because you got people in this lane who don't necessarily venture out of different time signatures, or like they just like, some people aren't the most technical. They definitely have a lot of soul and heart in what they do, but they're not as sharp technically as they could be. And I pride myself on trying to push boundaries on all of those different things. You know what I mean? Because I know that if I push myself to be better and do some different things with it, skill wise, and musically, then if people give it a chance and really, really appreciate what's happening, it ultimately can push jazz hop or push jazz rap or whatever you call it. This particular lane that I've lived in for a very long time, I feel like it can push it forward, as opposed to just doing the same thing over and over again. Because that's really, when I listen to it and people recommend me checking out certain artists, I listen to some artists in this lane, but there's a lot I can't listen to because it's just like, fam, like this has been done to death. You know what I mean? So it's like I'm thinking about the culture constantly. I'm thinking about myself as an artist and trying to push myself forward, and in hopes of pushing this lane forward. So yeah, man. Let's see. Other comments. Makes me want to release my second comic issue in the same type of format. Wow. Hey man, that'd be dope. That'd be dope. All right. Let's see. Didn't know you did comics, Frank. Check them out. That's what's up. Word, man. But I'm glad y'all are feeling the track. Again, for those who don't know, it is on Bandcamp right now. So definitely check it out. You'll know when you show up because the page looks like that. Shout out to the missus and my sister for inspiring the lyrics, man. I'm glad that I'm lucky to have them in my life, man, and they've been a huge inspiration in my life and career. So proud to always proud to honor them and all of that. I myself listened to the album in the sunset, reflecting on the lyrics, walking my dog here in Costa Rica. That's dope. That's dope, man. I'm seeing that whole scene. You know what I'm saying? That's dope, man. I haven't been to Costa Rica. I heard it's a beautiful, beautiful country. Definitely want to visit someday. But yeah, man. So again, I'm glad y'all are enjoying the joint. There was something else I wanted to update y'all on. It is escaping me right now. Hold up. We got the music. We talked about that. We update y'all on Adultish. Oh, yeah, man. So also behind the scenes, I just got some keys from Marcus D. He just played keys on a particular track on the record. And yeah, man, adding that. Hopefully that will be mixed soon. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to update y'all on. So progress. One last song to write and record. Doing my best to get that done as soon as possible. My goal is to have I was supposed to be done with it this week, but then I got sick and other things were going on. So the goal is to get it done by next week so I can turn it into Tone. According to Tone, I will have everything mixed and mastered and back from him by the end of the month, which means I can then, finish everything up with getting it over to the manufacturer. So that's where we are with that. Also, I spoke with I had another meeting with Naturel. Naturel is currently working on the variant art. So that is on the way as well. Yes, Bop Alloy. So as far as Bop Alloy updates, we are planning, I've mentioned this before, but we are planning to work on new music in the in the fall. We should be back in the studio working on stuff. Um, I will. I'm gonna say this to y'all though, just to give y'all heads up, man. I know we're in this day and age now where people love sharing what was sampled for different records and stuff like that, and sometimes even posting it right under the songs. I would say this to y'all, you know what I mean? Like, so yeah, we're doing this Bop Alloy record, but um, yo, just do me a favor, do us a favor, you know, stuff like that causes way more headaches than you realize because it is not cheap clearing samples and then also trying to find obscure samples or using different elements that we wouldn't necessarily have to worry about in some cases. But yeah, man, the thing is, I know people love those records. But the fact of the matter is just like, man, yeah, when we do it, yeah, man, folks got to work with us, fam, because we just dealt. There was a song that had to be removed from our second album because we got hit up by a major label who distributed one of the songs that was sampled for the record, and it was a whole thing. And yeah, man. So I love people. I know that people love that sound, those textures, and this, that, and the third. But just know that part of the reason why you see me producing a lot more of my own stuff is to avoid those type of situations. Because yeah, man, folks. I got a homie I just spoke to this week. Something he sampled a long time ago. Folks are coming for him for it now. So I know that's what people want, and this, that, and the third. But yeah, man, we're working on it. But Marcus and I had a long conversation about that. Because it's to the point now, I get submitted beats all the time from producers, right? Like literally, if not daily, like multiple times a week. And I've been saying no to a lot of folks. But part of what I do at this point, and I even do it with my beats, because even though I use mostly royalty, like on this album, most of the samples, I think 80% of the record, more than 80% of the record is royalty-free samples, right? And there are two samples that are on there where like have cleared legitimately so I can avoid certain headaches. But fam, it's a lot of work getting that stuff done. You know what I mean? But the reason why I've been doing more of that for my solo stuff is because like when certain people send me beats, You know, some people y'all don't know, and some you know. Like, it's at a point now where I gotta Shazam the beats when people send them. Like, I literally Shazam the joints before I've even recorded, just to see if it comes up. And if anything comes up on it, it's like I'm not doing anything with it. And so I found that at this point it's easier for me to do most of my own production, just to avoid headaches long term. You know what I mean? Because the fact of the matter is, man, and this is something a lot of artists don't think about, but I won't be here forever. And the last thing I want is some major label to come at my family. You know what I mean? Trying to get certain things taken down, and then my family has to like deal with stuff they typically don't have to deal with. And so I've just been making a real conscious effort to avoid that going forward. But with some of the artists that I collaborate with, it's a bit challenging because their sound is heavily based on sampling certain types of stuff that I know that a good majority of people, that's the stuff they'd rather hear me over. But yeah, that is not the best look all the time. So that's just a little inside scoop that I know y'all ain't asked for that, but I'm telling you anyway, because you need to know that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it literally affects people's lives. You can see a lot of effort and heart in this work. Thank you for showing part of this album to the community who are with you, man. I appreciate it. Thank you, family. All right. Ouch, indeed. All right. You're producing more of your own work has been a breath of fresh air and led to more greatness. Man, thank you so much for that, fam. I really appreciate that. Good idea. Yo, straight up. Here's the crazy thing, man. There were certain joints that we released that like I Shazammed it and was like, man, it didn't even come up as our song at all. Like, it came up as the original sample that the producer used. And yo, that's just dangerous. You know what I mean? Especially, and here's the wild thing, right? Because a lot of producers will tell you straight up, like, and this is for people who buy beats from producers. And I know a lot of producers don't want me saying this shit, but I don't give a fuck because I make beats too. So I'm a producer. And I just be like, we gotta do better. So like folks will take what they'll do something called phrase sampling, right? Phrase sampling is when you find a sample that's so good that it doesn't necessarily need a lot of chopping. It actually sounds better as is. But the dangerous part about phrase sampling is most people who phrase sample, they add some drums under it to beef up the drums that maybe exist in the sample or were never there. And then maybe they'll add bass on top of it to bring the bass out a bit more, unless it already has a dope bass line. But the fact of the matter is, when you do that, there's a good chance that it will be recognized as the original song and not necessarily your variation of it that you didn't clear. So it puts you in a situation. And I know that hip hop, we have a lot of these unspoken rules or rules that like we love to throw out there, but this shit don't really exist. It's not legally binding shit. So it's like, yo, you're going to end up in this situation. And, and we oftentimes call these folks, like we talk about these folks, these companies that come for artists and stuff like that. We talk about like they money hungry folks. But the fact of the matter is, yo, they own that IP, son. And like, yo, if somebody who you didn't fuck with sample what you made, you know what I mean? And you ain't like what they did with it and you ain't appreciate how they went about it and they didn't contact you, you feel a way about it. And so, I think younger me has had some opinions on it that like contradict what I'm saying right now, but I get it. It's like, I don't think it's I think, we got to recognize like fam, it's almost like people aren't learning. You know what I mean? The technology is making it easier and easier for artists to get caught doing this. You see what I'm saying? Even though it's very much a part of the culture. This is how hip hop was built. And the fact of the matter is, most of us can't afford to be dropping $2,000 to $5,000 or more to pay for clearing the samples, every sample that we use. And so, and we're in this day and age now where fans get they get they get a kick out of discovering the original sample and sharing that. They get brownie points for sharing that to other folks, and they do that, but then at the same time claiming to be fans of the artist, and ultimately the artist did what they did, so it ain't the fan's fault. But the fan definitely is not helping in that particular instance. And if you want more music out of that folk, getting them sued a bunch of times probably ain't the move. But at the same time, folks got to be smarter about how we're doing this shit too, knowing what it is. Peace, Blackheart. What's going on, fam? New Bop Alloy going to be crazy. I already know. Man, listen, especially because we haven't recorded in the same space for a full album ever. Like we've only, for every record we've made, we probably have been in the studio together once or twice during the whole process. Right. So like a good majority of what we do is almost never in the same room. So this will be the first time we're doing that. How do you feel about all the new AI art and music coming out? Um, all I can say is yeah, I mean, again, man, as technology does what it does, it's going to make it a lot easier for people who don't have certain skill sets or don't have the budget to create certain things. It's going to make it easier for people to create those things. And I don't love it. I think some of the stuff looks amazing, but I don't love what it represents. But ultimately, I don't get too mad at the AI art thing only because I'm a hip hop artist, right? I'm a rapper slash producer who sampled a bunch of stuff without people's permission. It's kind of hypocritical for me to be out here shitting on these folks for doing what the genre of music I've been a part of has been doing from the onset, like from the beginning. You know what I mean? That's what hip hop has done. So like I don't really hop on the bandwagon of shitting on all these folks. I see both sides. I know if you're a person who can't afford to pay somebody like me who's a professional graphic designer, if you can't afford to pay like my minimum rate, which is like 5 times more than what you could probably get the same thing done for, or maybe even 10, nah, not 10 times, but like probably like 5 to 7 times more than what you could pay to get it done on Fiverr, right? And then hell, if you use AI, you can get it done for free, right? So like, listen, I get it because the fact of the matter is, it's like if you don't have the means, then you're going to do whatever you can to get a particular thing done. So I see both sides, man. I don't think there's a I don't think it's as clear cut as people and it's crazy because I'm an artist. So of course, like I get why artists are upset and stuff, and but I also know that, man, this is the day and age we're in. And with seeing it with music too, I think it really comes down to the consumer. Like as long as the consumer exhibits certain behaviors, the technology is going to continue to develop in a way that basically pleases those people and gives them what they want, how they want it, as quickly as they want it. And so as long as the consumer is always demanding things that move in a certain direction, there's going to be someone who has the resources to make certain things happen, to try to make those things a bit more obtainable for people, which 9 times out of 10 means someone's going to get the short end of the stick. So that's how I see it at this point, man. I don't think it's a win really for anybody. Somebody's going to lose. But thank you for that question. Let me see. That's something I saw early on. Also, why the producers became such a prominent aspect of the industry. Word. As a composer and producer, I stopped sampling for a few reasons. One, it's a hassle to get music clear. Two, it made me become stingy with music that wasn't mine to begin with. Yeah. Man, listen. I'm proud of myself, man. I haven't had a coughing fit this whole joint, and trust, it's been a struggle, bro. A lot of sleep has been lost, but yo, I feel you, Blackheart. That's always the craziest thing, man. When I see people arguing over who sampled what first and this, that, and the third, considering how much music is out here and like, or arguing over certain things, I'm like, yo, this is semantics, man. Like, yo, like, yeah, this, I don't know. It's foolish to me, man. Like, I don't know. I don't know. But I hear you. Um, all right, let me get the other one. And three a majority of the sampling beat makers of today don't give respect to the OG, often calling the original song the sample. Yeah. Yeah, man. The dope thing about like what I'm doing on the new record, the two songs where I sampled the instrument, the music or whatever to make the joint that aren't royalty-free samples, right? Like the dope thing is because I legally cleared them, I can actually I can tell the fans what songs I actually sample. There are some vocal samples and stuff like that. I got a couple homies who are like DJ Premier with the cuts. So, anytime I send something to somebody to do cuts, I gave them one thing to send. One homie, I gave one thing to sample because I knew it wasn't going to be an issue. And he sent the joint back and it has like seven different vocal samples in it. I'm like, Jesus Christ. And yeah, man. And it's crazy because the music's cleared, but most of this stuff he put in is not. And usually hip hop artists aren't really tripping off of people sampling like a line from them. Hell, man, one of the dopest honors I had was the homie Damu the Fudge Monk. He hit me up and played a song for me that him and Blue did, and he sampled me, like had me mixed in with a bunch of other like vocal samples. I was like, yeah, that's so dope. So like for me, that type of stuff is an honor, right? But again, if someone was just like, yeah, nah, B, I don't want you doing that. Like, what can you do, right? But yeah, nah, I definitely feel you on that. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times producers will be low key fans of these people who they're sampling. But because of the fact they don't want people knowing who they're sampling, yeah, they don't get the credit. I'm guilty of it. A ton of people are, you know what I mean? And it's not so much because you don't love these artists, it's more so because I ain't got the money to pay you what you should be paid, But nowadays, because I make more money off of my music than I have at any point in time in my career, I'm in a position. I mean, it's part of the reason why I crowdfunded the thing, so I could have some funds to actually put toward certain aspects of it. So that way I wouldn't have to worry about certain things long term. Can't wait. Oh man, I can't wait for y'all to hear it. All right. I wonder how Nujabes would change his production if he were doing it now, where it's easier to get in trouble for sampling. Yeah, man. I got some thoughts on that. I don't know. I think he probably still would sample, but he definitely was moving toward having a lot more live instrumentation on his stuff. It's young. Here's another thing about producing for yourself. Part of the reason, this isn't a shot at Nujabes, but there's a bunch of producers that I've worked with who do this. The other thing about working with producers sometimes, right, as a hip hop artist, sometimes you'll have ideas about live instrumentation that can be introduced, things that would make it so that the song isn't just a straight loop. Now, I know that a ton of people are perfectly fine with the song just being a straight loop and barely changing up, right? But because I've been making music a long time, and because I enjoy the music moving a certain way, I oftentimes try to get other people to add on to different things I'm working on. And what I found is that there's a ton of producers that when they're working on the solo stuff, they'll do that. You know what I mean? They'll do that. They'll bring in these other things. But for whatever reason, when they do something with me, they're just like, nah, when I made this, I just wanted it to be a straight. And it's just like, okay, but then whenever I do my solo albums, I make it a point to try to push the songs further. You know what I mean? Try to bring in these, because the great thing about having someone play on it, once I have that piece, whether we decide to use it or not is one, you know what I mean? That's one thing. But like, I'm like, let's at least get it so we can hear it and hear how it pushes it forward. Perfect example of this, right, is like the joint with the other guys, No Turning Back, right? So there's No Turning Back, the original, which was on the EP, and I'm sure there's some people who prefer that version. And then because Uyama is who he is, I'm sure there are people that heard the version with Uyama playing on it and was like, yes, that one. You see what I'm saying? But in that particular case, the other guys weren't like, nah, don't add anything to it. We like it as is, I just knew that when we did our collab EP, we kept it kind of straightforward. But then when I did it for the album, and because of what I envisioned for my entire record and what I wanted to bring to certain tracks, and I was mixing it, I was like, yo, I'm gonna hit Uyama, see if he wants to add to this. So he added on to it. And then I went in and chopped those drums at the end and reprogrammed them to do something a bit different than what the other guys initially had it do. And then on top of that, with the vocal sample that's in it, I had Precious Joubert add another like add more harmony to it. You know what I mean? Just to push it further, right? Because a lot of rappers don't do this, right? A lot of rappers don't do this. They just rap. But I'm not just a rapper. So my mind's constantly working that way. And unfortunately, not every producer I work with um is always willing to do that. And so that's why, as much as people want to hear me always working with certain people, it's always it's important to know that my solo records are always the most, like, it might not be the substantial that you want, but understand it is the most authentic version of me that you're gonna get. And that may not align with the vision you have if you only listen to me with Marcus D. If you only listen to me when I work with um, Nujabes, right? If you only listen to me when I work with Kenichiro, if you only listen to me with those, like, you're getting what they want me, what they envision me doing over their music a lot of times, right? Because it's compromise. Even my first solo album isn't Sacrifice feels sometimes more like a true solo album to me than To This Union, because at one point in time I was trying to convince Nujabes to make it so that the record actually said substantial in Nujabes, or Nujabes is substantial, because he had so much input on me doing things on the record. And I was like, yo, your name should be on the front, because I wouldn't fight you on as many things if both of our names were here. But at the end of the day, if there's a choice you're making behind the scenes, but it says my name on the front as the solo artist and your name isn't listed there with me, people, if they don't like it, if they have a problem, and I don't care if they like it or not, what I do care about is people basically seeing something as my idea because I'm the name in the front, and that was your idea, and I got to live with it if I decided to compromise. But people are always going to look to me. You see what I'm saying? So, yeah, so that's what's always tricky about, like, that's why I like, when, if we're going to do a bunch of stuff together, like, let's have both our names, right? So we take on, like, we take on that praise together, and we also take on whatever backlash comes with it, because both of us had say in it. You know what I mean? But anyway, all right, that was super long-winded. Let's keep it moving. I learned to recreate music instead of sampling. Word. Yeah, there's certain things I can replay myself as well. Like, a lot of times, like bass lines and even certain piano or like key things. If it's not overly complicated, a lot of times, if I find, even when I find a royalty-free sample, I'll like it in terms of what they're playing, but I don't necessarily like the like, if it's a synth or whatever, and I like the melody, but I think it would sound better as a piano, right? Like, or as Rhodes or something like that. Then I'll use my DAW to find a better sound to play the exact same thing. You know what I mean? But word. Let's see. What do you think about drum and bass, like retro video game type ones? So yeah, man. If you're talking about the genre drum and bass, yeah, man, it's funny. I was in New York at the time drum and bass started to become big. And so me and Tone Deaf used to talk about how much we dug drum and bass and actually rapping over it and doing music to it. So there's a lot of it I like. There's a lot of genres that people poke fun at, and like, and call it crazy and stuff, or like call it whack or whatever, that, like, I hear some of it and I'm like, yeah, this shit is dope. You know what I mean? I just won't play it all the time, but I definitely have an appreciation for it. This is the way. Is that Nightcore? Hold on. All right, I think y'all are talking about something that I don't know what you're talking about. Laugh out loud. Could you really get away with recreating a beat versus sampling? I've heard someone emphasizing they remade a beat before and didn't sample. So yeah, so here's the thing. Funny enough, because I teach music business, right? And I was teaching folks about contracts yesterday, and we had a conversation about sampling a master copy of a record versus sampling the composition. Because understand, even if you replay something, you are still sampling something, because it's a composition. And if it's copywritten, it's a copywritten composition, right? So if you're replaying it and those notes are the same, you know what I mean? Then yeah, you didn't sample the recording, but you are sampling the composition. So you could still get in trouble. And there are instances where like people have done something that it's not necessarily composed the exact same way, but it is so close to the original composition that they still got in trouble, i.e. Pharrell. Because sometimes it won't be a big deal. Like people don't always attack the little guy if your record didn't become a big thing. But there are examples, like for example, the record that got pulled by me and Marcus D. That record only had 30,000 streams, fam. And I know for some indie artists, they're like only 30,000. I'm like, son, like when you look at how some of me and Marcus's songs perform, 30,000 streams ain't necessarily a lot, right? Like you go in Marcus D's top 10, there's songs that got like between hundreds of thousands to like 6 million plays. Same thing in my top 10. You got songs that got up to almost like over 9 million plays to like new songs that just came out not even a month ago that already are at 30,000 plays. So in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot of money that song made. And we still got, they still came for us and we still had to pay. So, just understand that even when you're replaying something, you're technically sampling the composition, even though you are not sampling the masters. So you can find yourself in in trouble. You know what I mean? It depends though, like on who's coming for you. Oh, real quick. Hey, Joshua McGee. Hell of a way to make an entrance, sir. Thank you for the love, man. Been working in meetings all morning, trying to make a brother white collar. Hope everyone been well. Peace. Hey, peace, man. Good to see you, Joshua. Thanks for the contribution. Just a quick reminder to everyone watching. I try not to beat y'all over the head with it, but if you can, support the channel via Super Chat, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. It's always appreciated. Never mandatory, but thank y'all, man. Thank you so much, Joshua. All right. Let's see other comments or questions. Bro, do you work with Primo? Man, I have never worked with DJ Premier, but I would love work with Primo. That would be a dream come true. So hopefully before my time is up, that dream will come true. You know what I mean? Peace. Hey, what's up, nephew? Good to see you. Woke up 4 times in a row last night today, and I almost missed the stream. That's all good, man. Good to see you in here. I mentioned drum and bass because there is a DJ/producer called Rukunetsu here in YouTube that made a song called Battle Cry 2 featuring a rapper called Duep Huey. I think it's a cool sound. Word, gotta check it out. Steph, what it is? Peace. What's going on? Clap it up for Steph, y'all. Sister from another mister. All right. Good to see you in here. So yeah, man. That is all that I got for today. But what I'm gonna do before we go, because we do have a few people in here who weren't in here earlier. I'm gonna replay the single one more time. Let's get that back up on the screen. It is exclusively available on Bandcamp. Hold on one second. Got a question just came in. What was the song that you and Marcus D got in trouble from? It's called Espelio. It was a song featuring Carolyn Malachi. So that song is no longer available on any streaming platforms at all. But yeah, that was the song that we got in trouble for. All right. Yeah, man. So let's put this up here. Shazam. Let's take that Q&A banner down. And we're going to play the song You've Grown by myself and featuring the homie Millen. Also, the song is a dedication to the growth that I've witnessed in my wife and sister and how inspiring it's been to my life. Definitely check it out. It's exclusively available on Bandcamp right now. It is also going to be available on all streaming platforms next week. Hold on one second. I'm going to give y'all the link so you can pre-save that. Give me 1 second. Make sure that link works first. Shazam! It works. All right. So we'll drop that in here. Oh, wait a minute. A couple additional joints came through. Pharrell said that Stevie would recommend that he should have hired a music theorist to explain the Blurred Lines lawsuit more so than relying on just an attorney to explain the jury. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but the thing is, even if he hired like a music theorist to explain it, you still, the jury, you have to understand that these are random people. They're not necessarily musicians themselves. So even if he had that person come in to explain it to them, they would have to be a person who's good enough at explaining it in a way where someone who isn't a person who grew up playing music can understand what went on. Because at the end of the day, most people are just trusting their ears. And here's the thing about Pharrell. This is not the first time Pharrell has done this. Pharrell, like if you go back and listen to Common's Universal Mind Control album, there's a ton of tracks that Pharrell produced on that record that are all inspired by other songs that were hip hop songs that sampled something else. He has a joint on there that he did for Common that sounds like an old Biggie joint. He has another joint on there that sounds like a deep cut Wu-Tang joint. And then the single Universal Mind Control, which sounds like African Bambaataa, right? So like all records that were samples of something else. So he technically, there's a ton of stuff that he has out in the world that has pulled influence for other things that he's done for rappers or whatever, that he could get caught up for. But he got caught up for Blurred Lines because of the fact that it was one of the biggest. No, it wasn't. Yeah, it was like the biggest song in the world at that time. So hell, man, as inappropriate as that song was to be played at elementary school, they were playing it in my daughter's gym class, fam. I'm like, huh? You know what I mean? Like when my daughter's in the car saying, I know you want it. I'm like, no, you want what? No, you want what? The hell you want? You know what I mean? So yeah, man, it's crazy. Nelly's Hot in Here was inspired by Chuck's Brown, Bustin' Loose. Exactly. Yo, he's done it a ton of times, fam. A ton of times. You know what I mean? And it's the moment you say what the song inspiration was taken from, you hear it. You're like, oh shit, and it's hard to unhear. So yeah, man, you absolutely can sample someone's composition without actually sampling the recording. So anyway, here is the link to pre-save You Grown. So for those of you who are on Apple Music or Spotify and all of that and don't use Bandcamp, that's the pre-save link for You've Grown. So you can use that to make sure that it's in your queue next week when it comes out, next Friday, a week from today. And on that note, let's play the joint. So for those of you who have not heard the new song yet, I got it for you right now. Here we go. You've Grown.
How much you've grown. How much you've grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, keep going. So proud, keep going. Time slipping through our hands like an hourglass as it trickles sand. Struggling to meet all of like the man's. Ain't no guarantee, still make time to plan. Remember our dream, you worth a little stand. Better yet, God gave me 3 of you. Travel way beyond where it all began. Never let the distance get between us two. Grew from a black sheep to a black queen. Black excellence looking good on you. From black dress to the direct thing. Doing things you were scared you never do. Relate a message like a track team. You reflect who you're attracting. Watch you rise up like Maxine. Stranger things I struggle make a better you. I salute you. You put in work and never put your worth in how another person views you. You put your heart in every work of art and keep your family part of what you do. A queen born in Queens like a king's, but in real life, y'all who knew? Glad I shot my shot like doo-doo. Now we paired up like Bluetooth. I'm so amazed at who you are. Who would have seen us come this far? You really made this life your own. How much you've grown. How much you've grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, keep going. So proud, keep growing. Hey Lee, wish I had a time machine to show you younger you what you're accomplishing daily. In spite of what the cost is, all your losses, second grandchild, second baby. You grew to be the queen of second chances and advancing no matter what they see. No buts or no ifs, as it may be. Surviving from things that will break me. Went from GED to burning through your third degree. A lot of what I mastered in my own relationship, I learned from watching you and D. Went from drop out to a drop top at the drop thought tomfoolery. Went from no lights that lighten up a path for you and yours quite beautifully. This from you, from me. Some words of affirmation from your baby brother. Thanks for all the inspiration and support when I was fronted on by many others. Many of us don't make it as far as we have, and I cherish the joy that's among us. Every blessing you're getting is well earned. Take a look at that fall that you brought us. You know I love you. I'm so amazed at who you are. Who would have seen us come this far? You really made this life your own. How much you've grown, how much you've grown, how much you've grown, how much you've grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, look how much you have grown. So proud, keep going. So proud, keep growing.
Yeah, man. I hope y'all are enjoying the new single. Thank y'all, man, so much. Yeah, so on that note, it's 1:00 here on the East Coast, and I'm gonna go ahead and try to wrap up close to on time. But thank y'all so much for tuning in, man. Be sure, thanks, nephew. I appreciate it, man. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. For those of you who haven't subscribed already, please like and share this video if you don't mind. And yeah, man, encourage folks to check out the new track. If you're on Bandcamp, you can check it out now. Just a quick reminder, I know people don't do it as much anymore, and it was more popular in the beginning. But man, if you're somebody who's already got the track on Bandcamp, please leave a review. Like, write your thoughts on there. It definitely inspires other people to support the track if they discover it. So be sure to check it out there if you haven't already. Remember, if you are a Kickstarter supporter, you can already access this song for free on the Kickstarter page just by going to the recent update. You can listen to it there, or you can listen to it for free on Bandcamp. And also remember that once the entire album's done, you will be receiving the official download links for that. So that should be coming in the next few weeks, because we're really close to mixing and mastering the entire album. Also, last reminder, if you are a supporter on Patreon, you also have free access to this track as well. I will be uploading the instrumental and acapella to Patreon this weekend, so you'll be able to get it there for no additional cost. And for those of you who want to purchase the maxi single version of it, you can do that at Bandcamp, which includes the instrumental and acapella of You've Grown. All right, that's the skinny. Yeah, man, everybody have a great weekend. I appreciate all the love. Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, y'all definitely enjoy y'all Monday off. Be safe out here. Thank you so much, man. I can't wait until y'all can hear this full record. I'm really, really proud of it. All right. But peace, everybody. Y'all be good. Take care. Be safe. Have some fun this weekend. Don't have too much fun, though. You know what I mean? Need you make sure you can be around with us next week and all that good stuff. But anyway, man, I'm out of here. Y'all take care. Peace, 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 peace.